Alright guys, I'm excited about this one. If you are someone who is familiar with the new G series BMWs, particularly the G80 M3 M4 cars, then you know that they are notorious for shedding a ton of brake dust when driving, even after just 5-10 minutes after you washed it. It is insane. If you saw the thumbnail, obviously you know that I have fixed that problem, and in this video I'm going to show you what I did to fix it, some extra performance mods that I did to help improve braking overall, and I also completely coated the wheels and calipers of this car to give these 826M wheels the look that they deserve. So before I jump into it, I'm gonna give you guys a little behind the scenes of what I did with coating the wheels and calipers and kind of what it took to do that. So enjoy that B-roll, and then we'll come back and jump into it. as you guys just saw, these wheels are officially fully coated. Now I've had this car for what, over 2 years now. I just did my 2-year review video recently. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it up here. But the car was PPF, the whole front and the roof, mirror caps, everything was PPF when I first got the car. Car's fully coated, but the wheels weren't, because I knew the brake dust issue was a big thing, and I knew there were different pad options that would help the brake dust issue, but I didn't want to take the time to do a full cleaning on these wheels when it wouldn't even make a difference, because the brake dust just makes them look ridiculous. So the time has finally come. Super happy about it. And I do love these wheels. These are the 826M matte orbit gray that came on the 50th anniversary car, which this one is. And it has a nice, that gray kind of a sheen. It's a matte color, but it's like a satin gray, and has a very, very light, not even a sparkle because it's not gloss, but just a nice sheen. And the sun's not even out right now, but you guys can kind of see that. And they would just get so dirty. They would have like a red brown color because of the brake dust, and they just looked terrible. It looked like a freaking poopy brown color all the time, and it didn't look good. So now they're finally clean. And to show you guys, if you're familiar or you have one of these cars, you can drive for 5 minutes, 10 miles after you clean your car and the brake dust are covered. Now, I did a rally a couple days ago. Actually, I still have, shout out to Euro House for putting on an awesome rally here in Orlando here in March of 2025. But just got back from that rally. I mean, I drove probably 3 hours, 100 and something miles, pretty spirited, aggressive braking, all the stuff. Those of you that have this car or are familiar with these, if I did that kind of driving, these wheels would be covered. So let me just walk up and give these guys a little, that is ridiculous, insane. Wow. Literally nothing. Look at that. Oh, there's a little something, barely anything. Guys, this is 200 plus miles of aggressive driving, and that's all I got off the wheels. That is crazy. So these pads are the real deal. These are the PSI designed SP1 pads. I also mentioned I added a little bit of performance to the brakes. So these SP1 pads do meet or exceed the OEM braking performance, so to speak. Now, I have not taken these to the track. I do plan on it, but I have not yet. I've only had these on for a week or two. And from the seat or the cockpit of the car, I feel no difference. Brake, initial bite, everything's great. Of course, no brake dust, no squeal. But performance-wise, I don't feel anything lacking from the OEM pads. That's just my personal experience over the past 2 weeks so far. Now, while I was there, I also had the PSI stainless steel braided lines installed. So if you're not familiar, the lines from your booster all the way through the car are metal lines, but between the wheel well and the caliper itself, they're typically rubber lines to add that flex and more maneuverability of removing the caliper to change pads, etc., where a metal line would restrict that. So steel braided lines are the best solution of a kind of a best of both worlds. So I had those installed. I also had the Motul RBF 660 brake fluid, which is like a step above a .4 fluid type thing. So higher boiling point and better performance for hot, spirited conditions and even some track use. So definitely an increase in that. And I think overall, I probably feel a little bit stiffer brake pedal because of the steel braided lines. But if you didn't get that, you would feel no difference, and definitely not anything less than OEM pads, so to speak. So speaking of OEM pads, let me show you guys what we're working with here. Okay, so I wanted to jump in these OEM pads. So for those of you that aren't familiar on this setup, shed some light on what we're working with here. So first off, the OEM calipers on the G8X cars are Brembo. So they are Brembo calipers, it's just rebranded with M. Now, as you can see here, hopefully you guys can see, there's a Brembo logo right here, and there's also Akebono. So I'm not sure, I tried to do some research on why it's dual branded. Brembo and Akebono are both OEM suppliers, pads and calipers to multiple different manufacturers, particularly BMW, obviously. So the caliper is Brembo, the backing plate says Brembo, but then the pad itself is stamped in the metal with Akebono. So I don't know, but I think maybe Akebono designed the pads in conjunction with Brembo to fit the calipers. I really don't know. If you guys know, leave a comment so we can all figure this out. But anyways, they're good quality. There's nothing garbage about these pads, okay? I just want to clarify that. People say these things like they're garbage and they're not. They just produce a ton of brake dust. So when you have these cars and you want to have them clean all the time, are you willing to switch out a pad, pay the money to have something that is less squeaky and produces less brake dust? In my case, the answer was yes. So obviously got gloves on because these things are absolutely caked. But I mean, the wear is good. I've had, you know, just under 9,000 miles on this car with spirited driving, and the amount of pad left is pretty impressive. So, and then same for the rear. Now these are stamped Akebono as well, BMW backing, but also Akebono. So again, I don't know what the situation is there, but as you guys can see, the Akebono stamp right here. So rears, same thing. So I don't know what was going on here. I assume this is probably with the parking brake, potentially the electronic parking brake, to have this kind of pressure stamped on there on the little backing plate. I'm not sure, but wow, that's crazy. Either way, and another note, look at this massive pad on the front. 6-piston caliper on the front of these, single piston in the rear. I know most, you know, physics sake on cars, 70, 80 or more percent of your braking power comes from the front of the car, but I wish they would have put maybe a 4-piston in the rear just to have a little more power in the rear. You know, it's funny, the E92 M3 over here just got a big brake upgrade, and if you're watching this, that video may already be posted. Go check it out. But for these cars, like, I have no desire or plan to upgrade these brakes to a big brake kit, for example, because they're already Brembos. The number of pistons, you know, you hear the terms 2, 4, 6 piston, you know, big 380 mil rotor, drilled, slotted, J-hook, you hear all these things. But the pad size is also important, and actually the pad size on these cars are actually ridiculously huge. It might be equal, if not a downgrade, to get one of the aftermarket kits, depending on which one it is, okay? So, but the point is, these pads and this brake system are really, really good. Now, mentioning my stainless lines, if you're watching this, you're probably already familiar on why you would do such a thing. But like I was saying, these 2 longer ones are for the front calipers, the 2 shorters are for the rear. So from your booster, when you hit the brake pedal, initiates the brake booster, the brake fluid gets pushed through the metal lines all the way down to the inside of the wheel well, which connects right here, and then that brake fluid gets pushed down and connects to the caliper. Well, this is rubber, so obviously it's a high quality rubber, but the point is, under extreme heat, a lot of heat cycles and age, it can flex a little bit like rubber does naturally, whereas metal's not. So stainless steel lines are going to have a tighter, more responsive, you know, quote unquote more aggressive brake feel. Now, why would they do that, you might ask? Well, OEM cars are, yeah, it's an M car, but they want to be comfortable driving to sell to the masses. It's just how it is. So anyways, if you're looking to do an upgrade, stainless lines are a big plus. And of course, Motul 660 fluid in this car to have a little more, less brake fade, higher boiling point for those hotter track days. It will make a difference. And before I forget, let me show you guys what I used for coating the wheels. So first off was the iron wheel cleaner. Again, first time using GM products for wheel coating, super impressed. This apparently you can be used on coated wheels, so even now that the wheels are fully coated, I can still use this and it's safe for coatings. But you know, your typical iron wheel cleaner for decon, purple stuff, weird smell, but it does the trick, and really happy with that. Then after that, the prep, which is basically your standard IPA type of wipe, but again, did the trick, took everything off, and it was squeaky clean. And then once we were there, and then for the coating, naturally I went with Gion's Q2 Rim Evo. Wow, that's super reflective. Q2 Rim Evo, which is a, you know, standard full glass bottle coating for wheels particularly. Now I've got other coatings in here obviously, but that one, it is designed to have a higher tolerance. So I think 1400 degrees Fahrenheit. I could be wrong, I could be dramatically off, but I think that's right. So essentially, because a lot of coatings tell you you can use it on, you know, paint, glass, plastic, wheels, all that. But you gotta remember, like, how much heat are you producing in this area? I mean, especially the fronts. You got an engine in there that's pumping out heat. You've got tires producing heat from the road friction. Then you've got brakes, which are stopping a 3,000 or 4,000 pound car from X speed to low speed. So a lot of heat is in there, and that coating is supposed to hold up to the higher heat. And like I said, I also coated the calipers. So the calipers are squeaky clean. Got that nice bright red M showing now with no brake dust hardly. And of course the wheels. So that should hold up nicely to the high conditions. And you guys can see, maybe you can see the new pads in there. It's a nice, like a satin silver, almost like a titanium look, which is really cool. And they should stay that color given less brake dust. So I don't know if that's just the material or how it was designed, but actually kind of gives it a cool look. It kind of blends in with all the colors in there. So I like details like that, so kind of cool. Again, one of the most, if not the most annoying thing on these cars, especially mine, when I try to keep it so clean and detailed all the time, and the wheels are always dirty, it is ridiculous because of the brake dust. So now that has been fixed. I didn't lose any performance, didn't lose any stopping power, actually gained a little bit of power with the lines and the Motul 660 fluid. So again, PSI, SP1 pads, PSI is based here in Central Florida. You guys know I've got a few parts from them on my car and I've been satisfied with everything so far. So, and there are a few options on the market for these aftermarket pads for the G80. I just know the research they go into these products and they are phenomenal. And I'm so glad I got to have these on. Finally, put them on, put them to the test. And now these wheels can finally stay a little bit cleaner. So again, guys, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, drop them below. Appreciate you watching as always, and keep driving your legacy. Catch you soon.